videos, man. We got friend of the neighborhood, man. Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Mad City.
My mind is living on cloud nine and this nine is never on vacation.
I've actually never listened to Good Kid, Mad City. I know, kind of embarrassing. Especially because I do consider myself a fan of Kendrick. I feel like there's a difference between being like a fan of Kendrick and a Kendrick fan. If you're a fan of someone, you just kind of generally like what they do. If you're someone's fan, you listen to all the albums or into subreddits, stuff like that. Me, I probably streamed Euphoria like 100 times. Not like us, like 1,000. But any song off of these guys? Nope. Zilch. Nada. No bueno. Except for All Right. Obviously, that song's a banger.
All's my life I has to fight, Bella.
But I'm really hyped for the Super Bowl this year, particularly because of my newfound love for the sport of American football. But also because my guy, Kung Fu Kenny's doing the halftime show. And the day after I filmed this, he swept the Grammys. His last album, GNX, broke a couple records. I do have a video on that one if you want to go check it out. Bro's peaking right now. His reach is wider than ever. So if I was ever going to start a Kendrick Lamar series, this seems like the perfect time. Well, actually, the perfect time probably would have been like last summer. But this will do. 13 songs and an hour and 13 minutes of music. Nope, the last song is actually a remix, so we're not gonna include that in this video, just because it's irrelevant to the like cohesiveness of the album. But you guys can let me know if you want me to do a separate video on like the deluxe tracks on this one too. I don't know. For now, it's just these 12, so here are the adjusted numbers. I'm honestly kind of nervous because I know this album's like the holy grail for a lot of hip-hop heads, but I don't have a lot of experience with hip-hop, so I'm just hoping I'm able to fully appreciate it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it, you know, because, dude, honestly, this past month, I've literally only been listening to Kendrick Lamar. Just songs off GNX and the Drake beef. Nothing crazy, but it's a very talented man. So I'm excited to get into this. If you were wondering what my holy grail is, it's Red Taylor's version. 2 hours and 10 minutes of pure ecstasy. Track 1 is called Sherane, a.k.a. Master Splinter's daughter. What? Okay, I'm just going to play it. I don't know. Ooh. Is it like a cassette or something? Whoa. Whoa, this is not what I was expecting, bro. What? Does it feel like Euphoria, spacey, labyrinthy? Ooh, oh, that bass. So spacey. Ooh.
Had this house party.
Oh, what does that sound?
Like Arabians pushing no for
Yo, this beat is crazy.
Where you stay? She said down the
that walk out on the bass.
17 with nothing but pussy stuck on my mental. My motive was rather sinful.
Relatable facts. That was me at 17 too.
Titties blowing up my text. I looked at him and almost ran my front bumper into Corvette. And 2 niggas, 2 black hoodies. I froze as my phone rang.
Kendrick, where you at? I hope you ain't out there messing with them damn hood rats out there, shit. Especially that crazy ass girl, Sherane.
Okay, so Sherane is the girl.
Yeah, where my motherfucking dominoes at?
Kenny.
What?
Voicemail. Damn fool.
Oh. Yeah, throw my motherfucking oldies back on. You killing my motherfucking vibe.
That was cool. I like that. First off, that beat is kind of crazy, bro. It started off in a way that you feel like it's going to be a little bit simple. There's like that bass, but then once that drop comes in, you have that weird like walking down. That was sick. That was so dope. And based off this first song, it seems like the album is going to be centered around his upbringing. The album is called Good Kid, Mad City. Maybe it's like he's the good kid, but he grew up in a mad city. What does M.A.A.D stand for in the title? I actually don't know. So from what I could gather, there's 3 meanings to this title. The first is just Good Kid, Mad City, you know, because he's a good kid in a mad city. The second is My Angry Adolescence Divided, which could tie into how he doesn't associate with any gangs, so he's like divided down the middle. It could also be My Angry Adolescence Divided across 12 songs. It could also reference his internal conflict on this album, considering he left his house just wanting to hang with some friends and get a quick nut and ended up being peer pressured into a whirlwind of criminal activity. There's also a third meaning to the title, which is My Angels on Angel Dust, which is also kind of hard to pin down. In Mad City, Kendrick does mention that the first time he ever smoked a joint, it was laced with cocaine, which this is why I have trust issues, guys. So I guess you could say that Kendrick is the angel on Angel Dust. You could also say that he's referencing his close friends as angels because they live in Los Angeles. You could also say that Kendrick is likening himself to an angel because of the way he was able to ascend out of the hood and make it to the afterlife that is a successful music career. Who knows? All that just to break down the title. Wow, this video is going to be very long. I mean, regardless of what it stands for, I guess there's multiple different meanings. It's going to be about his upbringing, which is cool because I feel like, you know, considering how much people love this album, it's probably a great representation of that. So I can't wait to learn. And I can't wait to keep listening. What is the whole Master Splinter's daughter thing? The story opens as a flash forward. K-Dot has known Sherane for a number of months by this point. He also talks about her family's history of gang banging, but didn't stop him from hooking up with her. At the end of the song, K-Dot is driving to Sherane's house, but when he turns up, Sherane is outside waiting with 2 dudes in black hoodies. Oh, that's what that meant with the 2 dudes in black hoodies. Oh my God, that's horrifying. If I see that as I'm pulling up, I'm not even slowing down. I'm going. The Master Splinter part of the title likely signifies Sharane's hood rat tendencies. That's crazy. Okay, I'm glad that I figured that out. I feel like I have a deeper understanding of that song now. Shouts out to Genius. It's my guy. Genius, you're a genius. I guess I'll just say it now, but this album is basically a musical, okay? And I know putting it like that is gonna anger so many people, but dude, the songs all tie into skits. There's a clear 3-act structure. Each song serves a key role in pushing the narrative forward. It's a musical, guys, all right? Good Kid, Mad City is literally Black Hamilton. And I think this song does a really great job at setting the scene, introducing you to this young Kendrick and just showing his perspective, specifically highlighting certain things that probably differentiate him from Kendrick as an adult, and also providing some exposition to the story. Kind of framing it as the whole backstory rushing through his head while he's on his way to Sharane's house. And this outro is funny because it feels very like real. I don't know if this is like an actual thing or like a skit that they just made sound like a phone call. The mom's worrying where the dad only cares about his dominoes. Like, that's really funny, but it's also kind of like relatable, you know? And then it ends with him saying, "You killed my motherfucking vibe," which goes into track 2, which we'll play right now. Ooh, oh. That guitar, dude. Spinning around your head a little bit.
I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again.
Who's the girl?
Lord, forgive me.
Is that Sherane?
Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
Like, I've definitely heard this song before because it's so popular, but I don't remember that having such a normal guitar. Oh!
Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
Look inside of my soul and you can find gold and maybe get rich.
Oh, that guitar is so cool. Adds this like unique flair to a beat like this, I feel like. It feels like really grounded and like raw, you know? Oh.
Another mistake living deep in my heart.
Bitch don't. Okay. Bitch don't. Why? But today I'm
Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
Bitch don't kill my vibe. I can feel the new people around me, they want to get famous. I love how his cadence changes for this part right here. Makes it feel like kind of like weird and like in your own head. Bitch. Okay, why does it keep happening?
Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
Bitch don't kill my vibe.
Waiting on
Kendrick like
the first and the 15th.
What does that mean?
Put that pussy on the
Pussy on a pedestal. Like he says that in Goosebumps. Yeah, okay, so that must have been a callback to this. Wow. Listen to this like fiddling. It doesn't sound like fully smooth though. It's a little bit like chopped up.
K-Dot, get in the car, nigga. Get your freestyles ready.
Oh, I do like that transition, but we'll pause it there. That's a great song. I don't know if I'd like heard that song before. I just heard other people singing it because I know the hook, but I didn't realize there was like such normal, grounded, like warm guitars on it. Similar with like the bass in the first song too. Like I was not expecting these instrumentals to feel so like raw, but I guess that makes sense with like the tone of the album. I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. Lord forgive me, Lord forgive me. I need to be alone. Bitch don't kill my vibe. Bitch don't kill my vibe. Okay, so maybe this is about him like not wanting the weight of that existentialism to like weigh him down today, right? I can feel the changes. I can feel a new life. I always knew life could be reusing the phrase new life, but with like the different type of new, you know? I could feel a new life. I always knew life. Really makes that flow feel like so much smoother. I could say that I like a challenge and you tell me it's painless. You don't know what pain is. How can I paint the picture? When the colorblind is hanging with ya. Metaphorically, to paint a picture is to describe something like, duh, bro, genius. Sometimes I'm like, genius, you don't need to explain the obvious. Or like maybe you do because sometimes I even don't get that. Like I even struggle with the obvious stuff. But I mean, like, come on, I knew what that meant, okay? It's difficult for Kendrick to describe the pain he's been through to someone who can't see his colors. This alludes to the thing in terms of black and white, which is a lack of nuanced perspective in complicated. I like that. It alludes to that metaphor that essentially everyone is familiar with, but doesn't say it directly, so it just gives that line a little more depth, which is really nice. I'm trying to keep it alive and not compromise the feeling we love. You're trying to keep it deprived. And only co-sign what radio does. Okay, so this is clearly a diss at Drake. No, I'm kidding. But it's, you know, him saying that he's making music, trying to keep the culture alive, right? Trying to keep it alive. Whereas others are just doing what the radio wants, essentially, which is, I like how this line kind of fits together. Keep it alive, keep it deprived. It's crazy how much he's able to cover in just this like small verse. I feel like there's just so much to unpack, bro. And they waited on Kendrick like the 1st and the 15th. What does that mean? People that rely on government assistance usually get it on the 1st and the 15th of every month. Oh, I see. That's kind of tough, bro. I like that. I think it's a phenomenal song. Really catchy hook that will lead you to think that it's not as deep as it is, you know? But these verses obviously dig into like the context of Kendrick's, I guess, goals with his career and how he wants to set himself apart from not only the people around him growing up, but also the people around him now in the music industry. So yeah, because of that, I'd say this song's meaning is twofold, but I kind of lean more towards it just being about the general music industry at the time this album came out, back in like 2012 or something like that. I don't really remember. Just because at this point, we haven't fully gotten into the swing of this album's narrative, and we'll get more into this point later, but I don't really get the sense that young Kendrick looks at the people around him with judgment. Like, he'll acknowledge that the things they're doing and the way that they act is bad, but it's always more about how their surroundings influence them. So to think that he would make a song blatantly calling them out on that is a little At the same time, though, the whole point of the song is that Kendrick doesn't really give a fuck, hence the whole bitch don't kill my vibe thing. Yeah, it's just a fun song, really catchy hook, banger. If I had my banger button, I would press it probably 5 times. Imagine I did like the 5 big bangers. You know what I mean? Banger, banger. But no, that's not a good bit. Never mind. I have a confession to make. For the longest time, I had no idea why they called him K-Dot. I was like, I know it's a nickname, right? But where'd the D come from? I was like, is it Ken? Is his name Kendrick? But no, it's because his last name is actually Duckworth. It's not Lamar. So I get it now. I just thought that was funny. I don't know. Let's move on to track 3. Ooh. Oh. Ah, ding, ding. What is he saying? Oh.
Martin had a dream. All my life I want money and power. Respect my mind.
That's crazy. The fat kick with that ding, ding, ding.
So I can fuck the world for 72 hours.
Yo, what?
Vroom, vroom, I'm racing. Popping pills in the lobby and I pray they don't find her naked.
Want money and power, respect my mind, or die from lead shout.
And it make me come fast, but I never get embarrassed. And I
You shouldn't. Let's go, Kendrick. You shouldn't. There's no way you just scrotum into a rhyme, bro. That's insane.
Nigga, it's go time. I rolling dough with a good grind and I run that home with a bouton and serve biatch. No way. Biatch. No way. Everything from pussy to a motherfucking.
Oh my god. Oh, the doubling there.
C-O-M-P-T-O-N. Like win, then ball at your defeat. All my life.
Oh my god, bro. Martin had a dream. Kendrick had a dream. Oh, fuck, dude. Fun fact, these days, freestyles don't necessarily mean improvised. It's basically just a catch-all term for this style of rap when you're more focused on bars and continuous flows rather than conveying any larger theme. So because of that, I feel like they could kind of be hit or miss when it comes to being included in a concept album. But Backseat Freestyle is so cool because not only is Kendrick rapping his ass off, but it's through the perspective of his 16-year-old self, which is so meta. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe ends with one of his friends saying, K-Dot, get in the car, fella. Come on, we finna roll out. Fella, I got a pack of blacks and a beat CD. Get your freestyles ready. Yeah. I improvised the yeah. It just felt right. Which frames it as him essentially rapping as like a party trick for his friends. And that to me is so important, and it works so well because it feeds the narrative that Kendrick is this raw generational talent. So much of this album is about how Kendrick is the chosen one that's meant to ascend out of the hood. Without directly saying that, obviously, because that would be insanely corny. It's kind of like how every movie about some crazy prodigy has to have one scene in the beginning that shows them in their element, just so the audience can see and actually feel the weight of their talent. Otherwise, you're just referring to how great Kendrick is, and you don't really get to see why or how. Kendrick in the context of the story. I mean, obviously you could tell that he's good just by listening to these songs. But that's all honestly BS just for me to feel better about having this as one of my favorite songs on the album. At the end of the day, I just like hearing good rappers rap. Like, show this to anyone, they'll end it being like, oh, he good. And I also love how he changes his cadences throughout. It just plays such a key role in making that beat not feel too redundant, even though it is an amazing beat and I love it. I have like 15 whole minutes of footage breaking this song down lyric by lyric, but it's kind of repetitive, so all you guys have to know is that he cooks, obviously. But here's a 1-minute highlight reel. He's saying Martin had a dream. He was in the past. I have the dream right now, so he's the one that's going to be leading moving forward. Kendrick riffs on the phrase money, power, and respect. All right, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, and respect. It's 2 separate lines, but they're connected because of that phrase. That's cool. Both a shower of lead bullets and lead from his pencil. Oh, I see. So it's putting him back in his 16-year-old mind, saying like, I pray that when my dick is done growing, it's massive. Okay. Because the Eiffel Tower is kind of a lot, though. Like, I'm just trying to set your expectations right, brother. Maybe change that line to like, I pray my dick get big as the Pentagon. Put fire to that ass, body cast on a stretcher, and her body got that ass that a ruler couldn't measure. Yo. Biatch, no way. Biatch, no way. I love how they spell it. She pussy poppin', and I got options like an audible. That's a football reference. Shouts out Super Bowl. Now we see why he's going to the Super Bowl, because of this one line. As you can see here, C-O-M-P-T-O-N. If you spell that out, it's actually Compton. So the deeper meaning to this lyric is that he's from Compton. So far, we're 3 for 3. Those are 3 bangers. The beats were phenomenal. The lyricism is insane. Like some of the greatest shit I've ever seen in my life. Bro, the lead shower Lead shower, bro. Ooh. All right, this next song is called The Art of Peer Pressure. Interesting.
Everybody sit your bitch ass down and listen to true motherfucking story told by Kendrick Lamar.
Ooh. Phenomenal intro. I love that, bro.
Smoking on the finest dope.
It's like classic, like 90s. That kit feels so full, too. The fuck?
Me and my niggas fall deep in the white Toyota. We on the mission for bad bitches in trouble.
Honestly, I'm on that mission too. Maybe not the trouble part, but the bad bitches part.
George Foreman grilling the masses of the working world.
I understood that one.
Usually I'm drug free, but shit, I'm with the homies. Yeah, nigga, we out for
Art of Peer Pressure. There you go.
me and the homies.
Wow. It's like kind of playing back and forth, which kind of emulates the different voices around Kendrick convincing him to do things. I feel like when you're being peer pressured to do something by a group of people, that's kind of how it feels. You're not really singling out anyone in particular. It just kind of feels like this big bubble of voices closing in on you, getting tighter and tighter until you're like, fine, I'll stop eating my ramen with a fork.
Until I'm with the homies. Just riding, just riding.
The contrast of when the first time this chorus came around, it was like the higher flow. It was like really wordy and going back and forth. And this is just riding, it's like literally the opposite.
The sun is going down as we take whatever we want.
Hey, nigga, jackpot, nigga, about to say.
My mama called.
Hello? What you doing?
Kicking it. I should have told
I like
them
that.
probably.
Oh shoot.
Let that nigga fade.
So they peer pressured him into robbing a family.
We should just meet up around 12. I'm trying to fuck on something too. Nigga, shut your dumb ass back.
I think it's funny because, you know, the title, The Art of Peer Pressure, obviously peer pressure is like a pretty simple concept, but I think it's because of the fact that they're doing something that's so bad, so obscene. They're robbing a house. It's like supposed to be ironic that something as simple as peer pressure could lead you to do something that crazy. I like how this song is mapped out. This first verse, it seems pretty like simpler. He doesn't do drugs, but he's with the homie, so fine, I'll try it. That's pretty normal. And then when that first chorus comes around, it's the higher voice, so it just feels like a little bit more lighter hearted. We're not committing any felonies yet. No big crimes. Then the second verse, let's actually read it. Speeding on the 405, passing Westchester. Gradually, what they're doing is getting a little bit worse. We seen 3 fellas in colors we didn't like, and started interrogating the Crips Bloods red blue thing, right? And then we laugh about it. That's ironic because I've never been violent until I'm with the homies. Okay, yeah, the peer pressure is consuming him more and more, hanging around the wrong crowds. The stuff he's doing gets worse and worse. Verse 4 is them robbing the house and then possibly getting in trouble with the police. So I guess all that is to say, don't succumb to peer pressure. It's a normal thing that happens when you're young, but don't let it make you commit crimes, please. Let's move on to track 5. I feel like I recognize this title, but I don't think I know this one. Ooh, I love the recurring kind of weird, not reversed, but like raising EQ, like wow.
Me and my niggas trying to get it, you bitch.
Oh, I know the song. Ya bitch.
From 9 to 5, I know it's vacant, you bitch.
Ya bitch. Okay, so this is building off of when they were planning the heist, if you will.
Then Sherane and Let It Burn came on.
Let it burn. Halle Berry or hallelujah. Pick your poison, doing. So maybe Money Tree is a metaphor for like a sustainable career, like a job, normal 9 to 5. It's just like constant income coming in. That's my guess. I know Money Tree is an actual thing, but I don't think he's talking about an actual money tree.
You know, big ballin' with my home, man.
I like this hook. Pick your poison, tell me what you're doing. A dollar might just fuck your main bitch. Is it just supposed to be like generally about how money is so coveted? I feel like I've heard this on TikTok before. Is this supposed to be Sherane's voice? Is that what we're doing here? Who's this? J-Rock? I don't know who that is. J-Rock is another LA-based rapper that's signed to Top Dog. He's been rapping for about as long as Kendrick, maybe a little bit longer. And he actually dropped a follow-up to this song called Money Tree's Deuce. It's okay, not bad. I have to say, I love that Kendrick is working with other artists that can connect to the sentiments of these songs. I think each feature on this album has a lot more weight to it because you could see the ways that they're connecting to the content and how them and Kendrick are kind of meeting on common ground. And without spoiling what's to come, you could just tell that there's a lot of intent to who he worked with. I mean, from the one song that I've heard from J-Rock, he talks about pretty similar stuff as Kendrick on this album. Their voices also contrast each other pretty well because Kendrick is always up here the entire time. And J-Rock feels super loose and open with his deliveries.
Take your J's and tell you to kick it where a falaka is.
I still don't really get the like Halle Berry or Hallelujah thing. You either chase fame and success or you either follow God. I guess that's probably what it is, right? I don't know. Jesus, the perfect place for shade, and that's just how I feel. I love the phone calls.
Lady, feeling good? Look, listen to him.
Got a big old fat ass.
Shit, he ain't even tripping off them dominoes no more. Just bring the car back.
Somebody say domino?
Dude, now I kind of want Domino's. Fuck. I have dinner plans today, though. Maybe I'll ask them if they want to go to Domino's. Okay, so the song started feeling like it's taking place in the build up to them robbing that house, right? Just setting the scene of, I guess, like their banter, their energy when they're hanging out together, building up to this point. It go Halle Berry or Hallelujah. You can either get with the program or you don't have to. Okay, so I was right. Cool. I was right about something. Are you telling me that I properly interpreted a line in a Kendrick Lamar song? Did I really do that? Really? Me? Really? Me? Everybody gonna respect the shooter, but the one in front of the gun lives forever. Yeah, this is the line that I don't really understand. Although the shooter may get temporary attention from committing the murder, it's the victim who's remembered and honored forever. Through canals and alleyways, just to say money trees is the perfect place for shade. Having a large amount of money shades him from facing hardships that many people encounter today. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense too. I was looking at it as like an apple tree. You pluck out an apple, more apples come back. Like, you know, that type of thing, but I get that metaphor as well. This is actually a surprisingly layered song. If you think about it in regards to the album and also just as a social commentary in general, I kind of think this is the start of Kendrick trying harder to distinguish himself between all the gang activity going on and just bad crowds he's hanging around, sort of readjusting his morals after the art of peer pressure, I guess. But I mean, this song really casts such a wide net. It's basically about all the ways that money poisons society, from how it influences the way you're perceived by others to the way it influences your life goals. And I feel like it could be looked at in two ways, either as Kendrick talking about how his life is made easier now that he has money, or how Kendrick's personal aspirations were influenced by his chase for money when he was younger, or just how anyone's aspirations are influenced. You know, there's so many ways to look at this album. It's hard to really pinpoint it down to anything in particular. It's just about money and all the bad things that come with it, I guess. Also, the line, money trees are the perfect place for shade, could be him implying that it's a temporary solution. If you think about shade, it's a spot that you rest for like 1, maybe 2 hours with a book or something, but you're not about to like settle down and raise a family under the shade of a tree, you know? Now, let's get into that singer verse. Be the last one to get this dough? No way. Is this supposed to be like the girl's perspective on this? Like, what? You're gonna be poor? I'm good. Love one of your bucket-headed hoes? What the fuck does that mean? With a bucket on your head, your vision becomes rather limited. Duh. With his direction in mind, young K.A.A. avoided interaction with women that had nearsighted ideas of their future. So it's someone that doesn't have their priorities straight, that is focused on the short term, can literally only look directly in front of them because there's a bucket on their head. Or it's a promiscuous woman. This next one is track 6, so about halfway through. This one's called Poetic Justice.
Man, I swear that she can get it. Say if you a bad bitch, put your hands
Oh, that's sexy.
dim the lights down right now. Go, go.
Ooh.
I recognize your fragrance.
Oh, that flow.
And I know you taste this a little bit. High maintenance. You live life on an everyday basis with poetic justice.
This beat is so nice. That sample too. So sexy, and then his flow is like so raw.
You can get it, you can get it, you can get it.
I really hope you play this, cause old girl,
Oh, who's this? Whoa, what?
Embarrassing.
Drake? I didn't, what? What? I didn't even know they had a song together. What the fuck? Yo, how did I not realize that it said Drake there? That's crazy. Okay, well, now I gotta restart his verse.
And all these one-off vacations you've been taking. Put you on a plane, take you and your mama to the motherland.
Ooh, he's kind of eating though. Justice.
You were so new to this life, but goddamn, you got adjusted. Your big ass in that sundress. Ooh.
Damn. I mean, this definitely feels a little more up Drake's alley.
Wish we were fighting
Since it's
less
about
so we
like
would talk more.
sexy women and whatnot. Poetic Justice. Put it in a song. Oh, I love that drum so much, bro.
My punctuation curve, heavy letter hits true.
Put it in a song.
Where's you? Hey,
Where is
ask
a
me if
problem?
you're from Sherane. Or where your grandma stay, where your mama stay. Get out the car before I snatch you out that motherfucker, homie.
Oh, shit. Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it. So we're talking about how Sherane is a bad thing. And she can get it. Kendrick is saying that, not me. This one is actually one of my favorites off the album, which I feel like might get me some backlash just because this is easily the least emotional / least ambitious song on the album. But considering Sherane plays such a big role in the story, I think it's nice to have this little moment where you have Kendrick writing her these cute little love letters, while again retaining the perspective of a 16-year-old. And I mean, the hook literally goes, you could get it, you could get it, you could get it. On top of that, the chipmunk sample with the slower paced drums really just brings a different vibe than the other songs on this album, creating something something that's kind of corny and rom-com-y and cheesy, but doesn't sacrifice any of the lyrical depth that has made this album stand out so far. Interestingly enough, poetic justice is actually a literary notion in which virtue is ultimately rewarded. Even if it seems kind of unlikely, it'll happen type of thing, okay? Another entendre, there's a movie called Poetic Justice starring Tupac and Janet Jackson, which is significant because Janet is sampled in the track Gotcha, and Kendrick feels he's carrying on Tupac's legacy. Cool. Make sure my punctuation is curved, i.e. comma, which would signify a full stop. Kendrick doesn't stop. That's kind of funny. If that's his like actual deeper meaning, that's hilarious. It's just so funny how quickly that could go over my head if I didn't have someone explain it to me though. And I'm already overthinking this stuff enough, but I guess like who picks up on that? People will know it now because they can click on it and Genius will explain it to them, but who listened to this song for the first time and picked up on that? You know what I mean? If I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? Kendrick saying he's the flower maybe that bloomed in a dark room because he grew up in a not great area. Maybe call me crazy. We can both be insane. A fatal attraction is common and what we have common is pain. Oh, no, I don't think I missed anything with Drake's verse. I think it was just like sexy times. While I don't really like Drake because I'm a 5-star Kendrick Glazing recruit, I will admit he really does elevate this song. It brings a commitment to this lovey-dovey bit that I don't think Kendrick would have been able to do on his own. And as far as what I do like from Drake, I would say that this song plays into his strengths without overdoing the whole lover boy thing. That energy seems to just keep going and going until bam, snap back to reality as Kendrick gets pressed by two fellas in black hoodies. And I specifically love how quickly that mood drops in this song because it almost feels like you're Kendrick having, you know, that pit feeling in your stomach when you see them. Going from like cloud 9, you're so excited to see this girl to, oh, I'm fucked. It's just really well done, you know? Track 7 is called Good Kid, M.A.A.d. Oh, nope, just Good Kid. Okay. Ooh, sounds like a trumpet, like a really warm trumpet sound or something.
Look inside these walls and you see him having withdrawals of a prisoner on his way.
Desire to fire bullets at strays, like catching strays.
But what am I supposed to do when the topic is red or blue and you understand that
Oh, wow. Dude, whenever he does like those layered vocals, has a certain party that like makes you feel like eerie. Education, baby. I feel like this one was kind of artsy. The lyrics were a little bit harder to follow for me, so let's open up Genius. Shouts out to my bestie Genius that helps me fake knowing stuff about music. Look inside these walls and you see I'm having withdrawals of a prisoner on his way, trapped inside your desire to fire bullets that stray. Track attire, just tell me I'm tired and ran away. One would see that his mind is trying to escape this dangerous environment while trying to cleanse himself of these influences. Kendrick uses a lot of homonyms on this song and scattered throughout the entire album, which is when two words are spelled the same or pronounced the same but have two completely different uses. Example, blue, blue, lead, lead. There's a chance that you guys knew that from grade school because it sounds like something they would teach when you're like 8, but I didn't know it before making this video, so I'm just including it. I should ask a choir, what do you require to sing a song that acquire? What the heck? I need to just reread that. I should ask a choir, what do you require? Sing a song that acquire me to have faith. And that makes his verse feel so much more thought out and tighter while you're listening to it. Particularly Kendrick's wordplay has really just blown me away on this album. And I know that sounds so generic, but I mean, whether it's double or triple entendres, homonym flows, or that all my life I want money and power, respect my mind, or die from lead shower thing. Each line he spits serves a purpose, or sometimes even multiple purposes, and just ends up giving so much more weight to everything that he says. Like literally every single word that comes out of his mouth. Me jumping off the roof is me just playing it safe. So he's saying that we'll refer to it as committing would be him just playing it safe. And he wants to actually work to get out in this life. Well, what am I supposed to do when the topic is red or blue? Crips or Bloods or police? That's my guess. Step on my neck and get blood on your Nike checks. I don't mind, because one day you'll respect the good kid, M.A.A.d City. His predicament of being a genuinely good kid, but also just getting tangled up in the wrong shit. Following the trend of each song serving a distinct purpose on this album, Good Kid represents Kendrick's mindset and I guess moral foundation that he's setting for himself before things start to get a lot worse. Going back to the musical metaphor, think of it as his defying gravity. The sentiment to this song is what keeps him anchored through the back half of the album. And I love how he ends it by saying, someday they'll respect the good kid M.A.A.d City, because I mean, look around now, man. And the chorus is sang by Pharrell. No way. Let's get into M.A.A.d City. Now this song, I do know. Bend down, where you're from, fella.
Got along
They probably got me down by the end of the song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man down.
Where you from? Ella.
Brace yourself, I take you on a trip down
Memory
memory
lane.
lane. This is cold as
Oh my god, I forgot how good this is.
Leo Boogie, yeah, YG Lucky, ride down Rosecrans on Warriors and Conan.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
Seen a light skinned
Ella
nigga
with his brains blown out.
I was looking at him different. That was back when I was not.
Oh my god, this song's phenomenal.
Killed my cousin back in 94. Fuck your truce.
That city.
Man down. Where you from?
Yeah. What the fuck? I don't think I ever listened to this part of the song. Very boom bap.
How we do?
Fresh out of school, cause I was a high school grad.
Oh my god.
Kendrick, a.k.a. Compton's human sacrifice.
Oh shoot. So I feel like this song is kind of diving into like his anxieties, right? Like he's telling himself he knows it's gonna be okay, but at the end of the day, he's still scared to fucking go out of his house. Go outside, you know?
What you say, my intelligence now is great relief, and it's safe to say
Whoa,
that
he's
our
like
next
slowly
generation
going.
maybe
You almost like imagine like a floating head, wrapping all this, going back and forth.
made me an angel on angel dust. What?
Nigga, pass Dr. bottle. Damn. Don't even trip. Just lay back and drink that.
I mean, that's a fucking banger. Obviously, it's a massive bloody tune, mate. I love how that first part is like its own thing, right? That's also become so iconic. Like, I don't really listen to the song that much, but I knew it, basically. And the second part turns into this completely different song that's so much more gritty and like classic. Man down, where you from? Oh, that's Kendrick saying that? No way. I thought it was someone else. But I like that he uses the deeper voice there because it just makes it sound more like threatening.
Where you from?
You know? Ugh. I'm pissing my pants instantly, bro. Brace yourself. I'll take you on a trip down memory lane. This is not a rap on how I'm slinging crack or move cocaine. Seen a light-skinned fellow with his brains blown out. That was back when I was 9. Holy, he was 9? Goddamn. Guys, up till now, I've been like barely holding on with these lyrics. I did my best to try and pick apart all the metaphors, but at this point, I was struggling, man. With the sliding door, fuck is up. Fuck you shooting for if you ain't walking up, you fucking punk. Picking up the fucking pump. Picking off your suckers, suck a dick, or die. Oh my god, this is like crazy wordplay. Picking up the fucking pump, picking off your suckers, suck a dick, or die, or sucker punch. Oh my god. Like, that's how you know how goated Kendrick is. I have the lyrics right in front of me, and I can't even read them at like half the speed that he says them without struggling. You could take that to mean Kendrick's a lyrical mastermind, or you could take that to mean I have the reading skills of a 3rd grader. It could mean both, but regardless, this shit is still insane, bro. A wall of bullets coming from AKs, ARs. Hey, y'all, duck. Oh, I love that. That's what mama said when we was eating that free lunch. Like they're eating duck. Oh man, goddamn, all hell broke loose. You killed my cousin back in 94. Fuck your truce. Oh. So that's like how deep the beef runs, I guess. Now, I have this personal theory that the choice to have 2 distinct parts of this song that sound so different is meant to represent both sides of life in Compton, I guess we'll say. The first part being some of the darker and scarier aspects, with gangs to steer clear of, shootouts, drug dealing, little Kendrick walking around scared, you know, avoiding as much of it as he possibly can. And the second part represents the rich culture behind the city, something that I won't pretend to know a lot about because, let's face it, I'm a middle-class Asian boy. But considering Kendrick is still so adamant about representing his hometown even after making it out, there's clearly something about it that he still feels attached to in a positive way. Something really interesting that I picked up in the second part of this song is the boom bap drum has a snare that just has so much pop to it that it almost resembles a gunshot. And that to me represents Kendrick's ability to still kind of see the beauty in such a horrible environment, even if that does mean just turning it into a kick-ass album someday. And don't get me wrong, the sentiment to these lyrics is still just as dark as the first part, so honestly, I could be completely fabricating all this in my head, but something about them and Kendrick's delivery feels a little bit more heartfelt in its tone, which to me is Kendrick saying, you know, Compton's a bad neighborhood, but it's also my neighborhood, and I'm gonna embrace it. Not to spoil the rest of the album, but by the end, you almost do kind of question why he would ever want to look back, considering how bad some of the stuff that happens is. But I do think that this song plants the seed of why he cares, why he still cares so much to this day, to be the human sacrifice. While Good Kid was obviously about Kendrick's internal conflicts and emotions, this song represents the external, basically fleshing out both sides of the album title. And when paired as back-to-back tracks, I think they work really well together, just because we know in this album that duality is so important in the message that Kendrick is trying to convey. On an unrelated note, Kendrick comes in on this second part with this really weird tone,
Fresh out of school, cause I was a high school grad.
which kind of reminds me of a teen voice cracking. I feel like that's what he was trying to go for. I'm not really sure. Just another funny detail to immerse you more into young Kendrick's perspective. Next song is called Swimming Pools, parentheses, Drink, extended version. I'm having a really good time listening to this album, but I've been filming for like 2 hours now, bro. I'm tired.
Headshot.
Ooh.
Sit down.
But the vibe's so good.
Nah, I done grew around some people living their life in bottles. Why you babysitting?
Oh, this song, yo.
I'ma show you
Had to turn it up a notch. Pass out, drank, wake up, drank. Editor Jason, during this part, can you pitch down the first thing and then pitch up my drank every single time?
I'm in your conscious. If you do not hear me, then you will be history, Kendrick.
Wait, I gotta replay that.
I know that you're nauseous right now, and I'm hoping to lead you to victory, Kendrick.
Think that I'm feeling the vibe. I see the love in her eyes. I see the feeling of freedom is granted as soon as
Why you always sitting down 2 or 3 shots? I'ma show you how to turn it up a notch. Spoon full of liquor and you dive in it.
Wake up.
Drank.
Faded.
Drank. Drank.
I love like how creative he gets, like the different cadences he uses with his voice. You know what I mean? It's like subtler changes, but it just affects the trajectory of the song. Drank. Bro, we're still harping on the same girl right now.
all I have in life is my new
Oh, that
appetite
kid.
for food inside of
Dude,
me.
the
I
lower
see you
version,
joking
pitched
while
down,
you-
it's so subtle, but oh my god, it just thickens up his tone so much.
But just when I thought I had enough.
Same old shit. I'm gonna pop a few shots. They gonna run opposite way.
Whoa, you could like hear the spatial differences of all the sounds. So it makes me feel like it actually...
Get out, you good? You good? Yeah, blood, I'm good. That you good? These bitch niggas killed my brother.
Oh shit. The chorus is like so fun to like kind of vibe to, but at the same time it feels kind of sad because it's like they're telling them to like keep drinking and drinking and drinking. These lines describe how parties go in chronological order. Yeah, okay. Pouring liquor and shots excessively to passing out. So this also kind of feels like it's playing on the peer pressure thing a little bit, right? Like this must be what his friends are telling him at a party. Meanwhile, he's just trying to get with his girl Sherane, who comes back in this song. This is really trippy. It almost kind of felt like he was like calling out for Sherane in a way while he's drunk. Like, you know, like his heart is still there. Kind of sad. He's possibly torn by 2 she's. One being a woman at the party that Kendrick's conscious is trying to get him to sober up enough to have a good time with. The other alcohol in general. Interesting. Okay, so after more research, I found out that swimming pools is supposed to be the party where he meets Sherane, which, duh. I don't know why I thought he got beat up, went to a party, got wasted, and then was beat up again at the end of the song. Maybe the idea is that he's reminiscing about him and Sherane's story while he's laying on the floor all beat up, since I guess you could say that's the reason he was there in the first place. But honestly, a lot of these songs are just not in chronological order, and I keep trying to figure out ways that they could sort of fall into place. It does feel pretty random and scattered. Not that I think that's a bad thing, but it's just my natural tendency to want to do that. They sometimes even jump around within one song. I like this one. Definitely one of my favorites, probably, just because the production is so fun. They do all these like little things too to make it feel so like, not cinematic, but just like really pull you in. Because it's not cinematic in a way that it feels like they're trying to be like pretentiously like grand. It just feels like really real, and then all the smaller choices that they make kind of immerse you more into his perspective. I feel like it's elevated. It's not like completely raw, but it feels authentic, I guess would be the right word. Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. Definitely don't know this one. Ooh.
When the lights shut off and it's my turn to settle down. I woke up this morning and figured I'd call you in case I'm not here tomorrow.
Oh, this flow's so continuous. It feels like one sentence.
In pajamas and thunder-duns. When thunder comes,
what's a dun-dun-dun? Get this. Dun-dun-duns are brief undies with superhero logos on them. And it gets even better. They're called dun-dun-duns because of that little jingle that everyone sings when they're pretending to be a superhero. Dun-dun-dun. I wish I had dun-dun-duns as a kid, man. I still love superheroes.
And if I die before your album drop, I hope. Promise that you will sing about me.
Yo, what? Swimming Pools ends with Kendrick and his friends seeing the guys that jumped him and wanting to retaliate. Kendrick's friend Dave gets caught in the crossfire and dies. Dave's death is a very crucial part of the album that carries into the next song, which is called Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, where Kendrick deals with the aftermath and guilt of his death. You know, in Kendrick's eyes, they were only engaging with those guys to defend Kendrick. And I think you really can feel the weight of his guilt from how deadpan and just like lifeless his delivery is at the start of the song. The first verse has Kendrick rapping from the perspective of Dave's brother, who, for the sake of convenience, I guess we'll just call Jave. Jave is a blood, and, well, I'll honestly just read it. This Pyru shit been in me forever, so forever I'ma push it wherever, whenever. And I love you because you love my brother like you did. Just promise me you'll tell this story when you make it big. And if I die before your album drops, I hope... Fuck, dude. Oh. Now, Genius kind of fucking cooked with this part, so I'm just going to let them take the driver's seat. This line also speaks to the idea that if you continue down the path of violence like Dave's brother, it'll end up killing you. hence the gunshots interrupting mid-sentence, showing us it could happen at any point, unexpectedly. This causes the listener to experience the sudden and jarring halt that is death in a smaller but still immediate sense. The fact he's murdered mid-sentence more broadly signifies he was killed before he was able to give all he had to give. It wasn't enough. His life was cut short, even his sentence is as well. Also note that the shots come in right when Dave's brother says, "I hope," signifying that there is no hope for kids like him in the ghetto, and also, since he is cut off before he could express that hope, the line alludes to the ways violence destroys hopes and dreams, no matter how small, before they can get realized. Like, damn, sometimes I think people overthink lyrics, but that has to be intentional. It's just so perfect. Anyways, I'm not going to show much my reaction to the rest of the song, just because, honestly, I was so locked in. I barely said anything. Holy fuck, this song is 12 minutes long. Oh my god, bro. I mean, it's good. I'm trying to focus, but why is it so long? That's got to be a record for the channel, bro. All you got to know is that Kendrick and some of his boys meet this old lady that sees the blood on their shirt and prays for them that they're able to find God and get sent onto a less vengeful path.
You need water, holy water.
After Dave's death, there's a skit that implies some of them want to go retaliate again. And I think the implication is that some of them did while some of them stayed back, and that's how Dave ended up getting killed. Which, this particular point of the story is just so powerful because that's the truth. Of all the people dying of thirst in this world, you're just not going to be able to hydrate them all. Now, obviously, Kendrick's been getting involved in a lot of messy shit on this album, and throughout it all, he's been drawing a line between himself and that life in his head. But even he gets confronted here that mentally dissociating is not enough, and that revelation ends up changing Kendrick's perspective moving forward. I wouldn't listen to this song that often because it's so long, but I mean, the way it paints this picture of the more emotional side of this, like the emotional toll that it takes on you, because like the fact of the matter is the other songs up till this point have felt like it just moves so quickly from song to song. You don't really get the moment to like sit in it and really feel the sadness of it. I feel like that's what this song is. And I feel like you feel that in Kendrick. You know, his flow is so fast and so continuous. It's almost like these thoughts rushing through his mind. They do the prayer, and then it ends with, all right, now welcome to your real life. This next song is called Real. So maybe this is going to be like a little turning point for the album. Why is he like not closing his mouth? I wonder. Ooh. I love how all these songs kind of start with like just like a string or like something sustained, and then you feel the beat drop. It's like satisfying. I don't know.
You love him, you love them, you love her. You love so much, you love what love her.
The entire album has really just been him succumbing to peer pressure and just going with the motion of everything that happens. But this is the start of him creating his new path. And in the hook, the repeated I'm real, I'm real, I'm really, really real seems to emulate just him being elated with that realization, you know, constantly repeating it like, guys, I'm real, I'm real. I'm not familiar with the lady on this song either. Clearly, I just don't know a lot of people other than Drake, I guess. But I think her breathy vocals make this particular feature stand out so much. She's singing in unison with Kendrick, and it just feels so uplifting and light. It is repetitive, you know, definitely not my favorite hook on the album, but Kendrick's mom leaves one final voicemail at the end of this track. And this is easily the most satisfying moment of the album, where it just feels like everything came full circle and falls right into place. She basically tells him that she's not tripping about the van anymore. She just wants to know that he's safe, and that Top Dog called wanting him and Dave to come into the studio.
If I don't hear from you by tomorrow, I hope you come back and learn from your mistakes.
Come back a man. Tell your story to these black and brown kids in Compton.
Let them know you was just like them, but you still rose from that dark place of violence, becoming a positive person.
But when you do make it, give back with your words of encouragement. And that's the best way to give back. To your city. I'll be honest, guys, on my first listen, I started to tear up during this part of the song because I just think about like how much my parents would worry about me if I were in that situation, and the way that his parents expressed those concerns without overwhelming him, you know, just completely putting their own fear aside. Honestly, it could make me start tearing up right now. That's crazy. I put off listening to this album for a while because I'm a believer that you have to be of the right mindset in order to fully enjoy something. And I just feel like if I took a break from my Ariana Grande series to listen to Good Kid, Mad City real quick, it wouldn't hit the same. But not to get too personal, this album just came to me at the right time in my life to really realign my perspective. But back to the actual music, okay? I don't think I need to explain why this voicemail is the perfect note to end Kendrick's story on. Beyond that, it's really just a great moment to show how much his parents love and support him. When I someday make my own album called Asian Kid White High School, I'll ask my parents to do the exact same thing. I mean, they'll probably ask me if I like ate dinner yet or did my homework. And with Dying of Thirst ending on a prayer and the first track, Sherane, starting with a prayer, you get the sense that it's this never-ending loop. You know, this is what life is like in Compton. Heck, his parents sound so calm. It could be because they're used to having conversations like this. Maybe they got tangled in situations like this growing up too, so they're just a little bit less sensitive to it. So it really just adds the perspective of Kendrick being able to make it out, not just being about his future and his success, but what it means for his entire family and all his friends, you know, breaking that cycle and changing it moving forward. Compton, let's play it.
Now everybody serenade the new faith of Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, wow.
Kendrick, and I meant it, my point intended.
Dude, it's so
is
wide,
far.
it's so big.
Fiction, if they take everything, no, I got
Compton is Kendrick signing off on a more positive note after the conclusion of this album's story. It kind of reminds me of when you're arguing with one of your boys and then they're like, hey man, it's all love at the end of the day. And then you look back on the entire argument in a more positive light, and the horns and surrounding instrumentals really make it feel like this triumphant anthem for the city. Oh shoot! Dr. Dre is obviously another rapper slash musician who's famously from Compton. And I think the two of them being on this song together, especially the way that Kendrick kind of passes the mic off to him,
Look where I'm at, it's the murder cap, and I'm captain at birth in this gangster rap. It's a rap.
kind of feels like this outro zooming out crane shot that shows the scale that this sentiment to this album can actually have. In a less serious way, it's kind of like Kendrick jumping back to present and being like, well, that's my story, kids. Who would have thought that it would make for a kick-ass album someday?
grounded like 4 flats, but I know flats and power.
Grounded like 4 flats. Dude, this beat is so crazy, bro. Oh my god. Bro, what? Yo, what? No way he busted out the talk box, bro.
Mom, I'm finna use the van real quick. Be back 15 minutes.
Oh, and ending it so it's full circle. Yo. So that entire album was Kendrick's excursion in the van. And the album ends with him saying, yo, mom, I'm gonna use the van real quick. Be back in 15 minutes. That's so good. That's so good, bro. Oh my god. Dude, that was phenomenal. That was insane. I don't think I've ever listened to an album that tells a story this concisely. Like, the content of the narrative itself is not hard to interpret, but it's just about the weight of it, the emotion. Oh my god, dude. And that's Good Kid, Mad City. Not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever experienced an album like this before. On this channel, I'm a pretty big feelings guy, okay? I'm a softie. Usually my favorite songs are the ones that are applicable to my own perspective. And let's be real, that ends up being heartbreak songs a lot of the time because I'm just a certified lover boy. I don't know, it's a heart in my hairline, I don't care. The most literal aspects of this album's story are things that I just flat out cannot relate to at all. So while I knew that this was gonna be good music, I just wasn't sure how it was gonna resonate with me as a middle-class Asian boy. But something about this album just touched me in a way that I wasn't expecting. While it's clearly meant to cater to people that can more closely relate to Kendrick's upbringing, at its core, it's a coming-of-age story. So I do think that there is something for everyone on this album. And even with the certain details that I couldn't relate to, Kendrick just does such a good job at pulling you into his perspective that you just can't help but feel all the emotions of it like it's happening to yourself. I mean, I never get emotional while listening to music, and here I am, little JP crybaby. I've covered plenty of albums on this channel that have cohesive narratives and skits and whatnot, but I think what I loved about this album was how grounded in reality its narrative was. There's no allegory or complex metaphor, no extreme aesthetic to make it polarizing, nothing to distract from the content. And that's what really makes the emotions of it hit so hard, because anything that feels kind of crazy or deeply tragic is happening to actual people in this country. And not to compare apples to oranges, but Tyler killing Earl's sweatshirt really does not hold a candle to my guy Dave getting caught in the crossfire. RP Dave, I never got to know you, but I'm sure you were a really nice guy. And that's true about all forms of media. You know, a death in a Marvel movie is not gonna hit like a death in A Walk to Remember. I don't cry to movies. That shit took me down. Good Will Hunting is one of my favorite movies of all time because it turns life into poetry. And I honestly feel the same way about this album. You know, with the way things are wrapped up at the end of Real, you can't help but look back on everything and kind of smile, albeit with tears and snot seeping into your mouth. And that's just in regards to the story it's telling. Not to mention that each of these songs slaps and play a crucial role in moving the story along while simultaneously working as their own individual pieces of art. Kind of similar to what I said about Chromacopia last week, except less scattered. You know, each of these songs are detailed offshoots of the centralized Good Kid, Mad City pipeline. Kendrick really showcases so much variety with his flows and cadences on this album. It makes the entire thing such a blast. Aside from the fact that his lyricism is packed to the brim with double meanings and metaphors, his delivery alone will keep you invested for the entire ride. Like, he's just so passionate about it. He gives so much character to every single line. And if he doesn't, it's intentional, like on the long one. Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. I don't know why I forgot that title. Maybe because it's like a mile long. A mile, using a mile to measure the length of a title. It's late. I'm filming this like midnight, guys, which is important to acknowledge because I feel like when a song is very lyric heavy, the tendency is to kind of not do too much with your delivery, as to not like overcrowd the listener's brain as it's coming in. But delivery is so important. It adds like new dimensions of relatability to the lyrics because you have what the words could mean on their own and then what they mean to Kendrick. And you don't really feel the weight of Kendrick's side of it if you just read the lyrics, you know? Now, the fact of the matter is that even though this album has consumed my entire week, I still can't dive into every nuance that it has to offer because it's just so loaded. But I kind of prefer it that way because, like, you know, you guys can keep informing me in the comments on whatever I missed. And who knows, maybe I'll make it like an annual thing. You know, every year I'll post a video talking about the new things that I picked up from listening to Good Kid, M.A.A.d City in the past year. Moving into my album rating, it's probably pretty obvious what I'm going to give it. It's a 10. This is probably my favorite album of all time, which is funny to say because I started the video talking about how Red Taylor's version was my holy grail, but I guess you got dethroned. Sorry, Taylor. The truth is, this album took me out of my own biases, not only in regards to the way I consume music, but also just my perspective in life. And I love the idea of how special it really can be to some specific people, and everything that Kendrick does, all the little details in the production and the lyrics and his delivery and the storytelling, it all just immerses you into that life. And I think that's a really beautiful thing because anyone that is able to completely surrender themselves to the album while listening will feel the emotions of it and feel the weight of it, and it's just really good. Anyways, that's pretty much all I could say about it. I don't really know. Regarding my song ranking, literally take this with a grain of salt because every single one of these songs is fantastic. But my top 5 are Swimming Pools, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, Poetic Justice, Backseat Freestyle, and M.A.A.d City. Those are probably pretty basic ones. I don't really know. Please comment down below what you think of the album. Specifically, I want to know how you're able to connect with it. Also, drop your favorite track. I know it's probably going to be hard to do, but just whatever your go-to song off this album is. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, a like would really go a long way. I know a lot of people wanted / expected me to do like one big Kendrick video, and I totally would have because it just would have had a better chance at doing well algorithmically than individual reactions. But think about how much information I tried to cram into this video. This is one Kendrick album, so yeah, I'm doing a series. And I'm going to take my time with it because after this, I'm almost certain I'm going to love all his other ones too. It is hard for me to imagine liking any of them more than this one though. But apparently T-Fab is really good. I'm really excited to get into that eventually. But Good Kid, M.A.A.d City was peak. Like literally, I was so blown away by this album. Hurry Up Tomorrow video is next. Hopefully sometime next week. See y'all then, I guess.
Brace yourself, I'm about to eat my lunch and that shit stink. Kimchi fried rice is fire, but gon' hit your nose like a tank. Keep making faces and I'll show you some of that Asian rap. Taekwondo kick you at recess and embarrass you in math. What high school?
Scroll down, hit subscribe, fella. Hit the bell to join the Noti tribe, my fella. I don't know any other rhymes, my fella. Asian kid in a white high school, my fella.